Hi everybody, it's Chloe here. So today we're going to be making some nature art. We're going to be making insects and animals out of the things we find in nature. So like sticks and leaves from the ground. You're also going to need some white construction paper, some glue to stick them to the page, some string if you have it, but I didn't have any, so instead I've got some pipe cleaners. They'll just work just as well. Some markers if you have them, and some googly eyes. So these. If you don't have these, it's okay, it's not important. You can make eyes out of anything you want. Okay, so now I'm going to go into the garden and find some sticks and leaves.
So I went outside and I found lots of sticks. I also found quite a few leaves that I didn't video, and a flower that fell on the floor, and some bits of grass.
So I found all my sticks and leaves, and I found this flower that had fallen off its plant and it was on the floor, so I've got that instead. So here we are, I've got a nice selection. They're all different sizes, and yeah, they don't need to be the same at all. So I've decided that I want to do my art based on my pet. I have a pet cockroach. He's a Madagascan hissing cockroach called Axel, and he lives in here. After a few minutes, I finally got him to wake up, so here he is. In all his glory, he's super friendly. He doesn't bite, and he loves grapes. Grapes are his favourite food. He loves grapes and hiding in egg boxes. So I want to make the nature version of Axel just as cool as the real Axel. If you can see, he has horns on his head, and those horns tell us that he is a boy.
Once I'd safely put Axel back in his tank, it was time to start making the bugs. So you don't have to make insects, you can make any kind of animal you want. You can make an owl, you can make a mouse, you can make literally anything. But I wanted to make bugs because I really like them. And they are found in nature with the sticks and leaves, so it kind of felt right to do some insects. I had a nice yellow leaf and a brown one that I wanted to use for Axel's body and head, and then I used the petals from the dead flower I found on the floor for a butterfly, and some bark I found off a tree. And then for the last one, I'm not sure what insect I wanted this to be, maybe a grasshopper. But I had a nice big leaf that I wanted to use for the body, and I had some sticks for the legs and some little plants. I think maybe, I'm not sure what they were. They were just growing in the garden, and I picked 2 little strands of it. So once you've got all your stuff on your page and you're happy with it, then you can start to glue it together. So I had a bit of a problem because my leaf wouldn't stick in half. It kept going unstuck, which was a bit annoying. So if you decide to fold up a leaf in half, it might be easier for you to just rip the leaf in half instead of folding it. It might stick more nicely to the page for you if you do it like that. So I was just busy gluing on all of the different parts that I've used. And I've already said this, but remember, you don't have to copy exactly what I've done. You can make whatever it is you want. So you can look at the different pieces of nature you've got, and you can think, what would look good there? So if you had a really long stick, it might look good as a dragonfly, but it might not look as good as a snail maybe, or it might look good as a snail. So just have a think about what different shapes you want to create and what mediums you can use to create the insects or the animals that you want. So there's no right or wrong answer. If you think that stick would look great as a snail, you can use it as a snail. It really is up to you. So I started gluing all the different pieces of my insects down, Axel's legs were all getting glued down, and I had some googly eyes, so I wanted to use it. I made some antennas for the butterfly, and I only had massive googly eyes, which is why they're so huge. Then I decided I wasn't finished. I wanted to do another page. So I wanted to make a ladybug. So I used one of the petals from the dead flower and an old leaf that was quite circular. And I asked my little brother to go into the garden and pick some daisies for me as the ladybug spots. Sorry, I mean ladybug. The ladybug spots. And then I had quite a thick, long stick that I wanted to use as a dragonfly. So there's my dragonfly's wings. A dragonfly has two really big wings, then it has two smaller ones underneath. And then I wanted to make one more thing, so I had to move up my dragonfly because it was a bit big. Move up my ladybug. And then there was going to be room for one more. So it's kind of like a flying beetle I'd made. Even though all my leaves, even though my leaves were all different sizes, it's okay, because in nature things aren't perfect either. Once you're happy with it, you can start gluing everything down like I did. So I did my ladybug's legs first, and then their body, and I took my time with this because there's no need to rush. You can spend as long as you want being really careful making this, and you can put some music on whilst you're doing it, and you can feel free to pause this video whenever you want to create your own. So sticking down the ladybug spots, you can use whatever you want for spots. If you don't have any, you could use a marker. And then I wanted to glue down my beetle thing with wings. So its body was the underside of the leaf and the wings were the normal side, so you can see that they're different. And the head was just this dead leaf I found on the floor. I'm gluing them all down so they look great. And the glue might take a little while to dry, so be careful you don't accidentally move it all. It's okay if you go off the page. Like I saw that mine didn't actually fit onto the page very well. But it's okay. And if you have spare paper, you could make another one. If you don't, that's okay, you can just make one. I'm making a few so you can see all the different things you can make with it. I'm gluing the wings of my dragonfly onto the page. And I decided it needed googly eyes. You might decide yours does not need googly eyes. You can make eyes out of flowers, so there's little daisies, they would look cool for eyes. Or you could just draw them on with a marker. Whatever you want. I only had really huge googly eyes, which is why they look a bit strange. But bugs have really big eyes anyway, so. And then I did a little bit of grass for the antenna. I put some glue, so I was using it all. And yeah, I decided that I'd forgotten to make a snail. So I forgot to use the string as well. So I didn't actually have string, remember, I had a pipe cleaner. And I'd forgotten to use it, so I wanted to make it for the snail's body. So I folded a leaf in half, and I used the pipe cleaner as the snail's body. Then I thought, maybe I could do something for the snail's antennas, because they have these feelers. They're not called antennas actually, they have these feelers that they use to see and to feel around for things, because their eyesight isn't actually very good. So they have two big ones where their eyes are on the end of, and they have two small ones, and I wanted to create that. And then once you've let it dry, you can start doing your background if you have some markers with you. So if it was me, I probably would have made the background first. But because I wasn't really sure what I'd wanted, I made the background afterwards. But if I was going to do it again, I would definitely have more of a think about it and create the background first. Because it's quite hard to colour around what you've already done. But I had a think and I thought, where do cockroaches live? And they live in the dirt, in the grass, in the ground. So I wanted the background around Axel to reflect that. So I did it quite brown, then I went over it with green. And then for my little creature on the bottom right, I did some nice grass. I like to think of him as a grasshopper, or them as a grasshopper, but I'm not really sure what kind of bug they are. Then when I got to my butterfly, I thought about doing some nice flowers. So I had lots of different pinks and I wanted to do some different flowers in different pinks. So I'm not a very good artist. I love doing art, but it's not my strongest suit. You will definitely be better at drawing real flowers than I am. But yeah, so have a think. Whatever you've created, think, where do they live? What would be in the background if you saw a picture of them? So if you did an owl, the background could be putting the owl on a tree. And then you could have a tree with the sky and then grass. You could have some bushes with it. So if you were going to make an elephant, where would an elephant live? An elephant wouldn't live in a field of flowers, probably. So there's quite a few examples of this on the internet if you happen to have access to the internet. So you could give it to Google, and if you Google the animal you want to create, you could see what kind of environment they live in. So for insects, the environment they live in depends on the bug, but some of them live in the dark under rocks, like roly-polies. Some of them live on trees. Some of them live in the bushes. Some of them live flying around on flowers, like butterflies do. So you can have a think about where you might find your animal, and then you could recreate that in the background. Then I moved on to the next page that I did, and I drew some brown on the ground, did some dirt for my snail. Then I thought my dragonfly might live flying around in the sky, so I wanted to do a lot of blue on my page. I thought my ladybug might be flying too, so I did a lot of sky, coloured in a lot of blue. If you have to paint line around, you could paint your background before you start, or like I already said before, you can do it with your markers before you begin, because that way you can get the whole page the colour you want and you don't have to go around what you've created, because that was quite tricky going around the different legs, the different sticks, and the different pieces of string or pipe cleaners. Then I did some grass. I thought my beetle, my snail would appreciate some grass. I spent quite a long time doing that. And I wanted my snail to have a little flower to eat, so I did a little flower. And I coloured in my sky using lots of different kinds of blues, because the sky isn't really all one colour. If you look in the sky, it's normally lots of different shades. And I spent quite a long time colouring it all in. You don't have to spend as long if you don't want. I just thought it looked cool being coloured in. And once you're happy with it, you can stop and enjoy your picture. And once you've made your picture, you can email it to us at mary@campmorty.com, or you could tag us on our Facebook or Instagram pages. And I can't wait to see what you've created, because I had so much fun making these. Here's mine, and yeah, I can't wait to see yours. Hope you have fun making these, and see you next time.